Good afternoon, Year 6. It is today, Tuesday the 19th of May. Remember, our topic today is looking at properties of shape, so we're particularly looking at angles in a triangle. So our first anchor question is, which is the odd one out? Have a look at it, see what you can see with the similarities, differences. What do you notice? So the odd one out, well, I would go through each one. So I would see, just out of interest, so I can see here, I might add them up, so 25, 65, so 70, 90 degrees. There, here is 120, here 60 and 30, 90, and then 35 and 55 is 90. So straight away I can see B is out because they have 120 degrees, not 90. And then I have got another difference where they have got two angles that are the same, so 60 and 60, as all the others have different size angles. Another question, find the missing angles. So we know this symbol means 90 degrees. So if that is 90, here, I need to do 90, add 67, so 90 add 67, what you know is 157 degrees. Well, that isn't the total size of this angle, because what is the total size of interior angles is 180. So I need to do 180, take away 157, which equals 23 degrees. So this video today is going to help you with your learning. Sit back and relax.
Hello again, hope you're okay. Flashback 4 to start us off with. Remember, name that shape as well. So pause the video, have a go. Okay, let's go. Number 1. Which pair of angles are vertically opposite? Okay. Now, a problem with two of them is that they're not connected by a common vertex. I wonder which two that might be. Well, we can see that A are not joined together at all. They don't share a common vertex or a common line. And C, there's no common vertex between the two angles. So B is the only one that is vertically opposite. Number 2. What do the angles in a straight line add up to? You might remember that a straight line is two right angles or two quarter turns together, which is 90 plus 90, which sums to 180. Okay, what fraction of the fruits are apples? You could do this in a multiple way. You could add up all the pieces of fruit. You could work out how many of them are apples, how many of them are pears. Or you could see that there's a repeated pattern. There's 2 apples and 3 pears. So the fraction would be 2 out of 5 or 2/5. Number 4. Work out 4 plus 5 multiplied by 6. This is a great one for catching adults out. One of the things that people tend to do is just read things left to right. But if we remember our order of operations, we remember that we would do the multiplication before we do addition. So we do 5 times 6 first, which is 30, add 4, which we get 34. The name of that shape is a cone. Okay, we're going to look at angles in a triangle, and you might be thinking, we're looking at angles in a triangle, why are we looking at a square? Well, you'll see why in a second. So, what are the angles inside a square? Have a think for yourself first. If we remember rightly, we know that all the angles inside a square are all right angles, which means they are 90 degrees each. Okay, watch carefully. I formed a right-angled triangle by splitting the square into 2 equal parts. So just to see the visualize that, let's take that triangle down. And we can see the original square at the top of the line showing where we kind of split it into 2 equal parts. So then, if we're able to do that, what would be the sizes of the angles in the right-angled triangle that we've just made? Pause the video, have a think for yourself. What would be the size of those angles? Let's have a look. I've drawn arcs on 2 of the angles. I know the missing angle is because it is a right angle, because this is a right angle triangle. So I'll put that down there, and that's 90 degrees. Let's consider the other 2. Well, let's think of that turn. Can you see the arrow I've just drawn at the top? Watch carefully. Let's consider how far that turn is there. Well, that turn is 90 degrees. It's a quarter of a turn. I'm going to go back the other way now. I'm going to go half that distance. So if a quarter turn is 90 degrees, half that turn would be what? Well, half of 90 degrees is 45 degrees. And then the other would be 45 degrees as well. Let's have a look at those. Let's take these out. If you notice about the sum of these, 90 plus 45 plus 45 is 180 degrees. I can make that easy for myself by thinking of, well, I know two 45s would make 90, so I could just think of what's 90 at 90, which is 180 degrees. What about the angles inside this triangle? Don't worry, I'm not expecting you to work it out, but let's use a protractor to measure. Okay, let's have a look then. So I can see this angle is a little bit less than 50. It's 48 degrees. What about this one? Let's measure this one. I can see actually, if I'm being really precise, and don't tell anybody about this, but I'm actually going to round it a little bit. I'm going to round that one to 61. About this one. I can see if I look, I can measure this just a bit more than 70. That one is 71 degrees. Okay. So if I look at the sum of those three, I can see again, 48 plus 71 plus 61 would give me a total of 180 degrees. This is something you can do at home. Draw a triangle on a piece of paper, make sure you use a ruler, cut it out, and then take the corners, just like I've done here. One thing you can do, once you've got your corners, is you can rearrange them. Can you visualise where this last piece might go? It's a bit like a jigsaw. If I take those three corners, I can see that I've got a half turn, which means that the internal angles of a triangle sum to 180 degrees. I wonder if that's true for any triangle. That might be something you might like to investigate. You might get some paper out, you might start drawing some triangles using a ruler. If I cut the corners out, will it always make 180 degrees? Okay, pause the video, have a go at question 1 now. Right then, let's have a look. What is the size of angle X? Pause the video, have a think for yourself first. Okay, let's have a think now. Well, we know one of the angles is 90, because it's a right angle and it's already labelled for us, and the other is 35, but we don't know the angle X. But we know that all three of them together must sum to 180 degrees. And we know two of the angles. One of them is 90, one of them is 35, one of them is X. Let's think of the two angles we do know. What's their total? 90 plus 35 is 125. And that leaves us with the X that we don't know. Well, how many more do I have to add to 125 to make 180? I could subtract that away. I could think, well, 180 subtract 125 is 55, which means that X must be 55 degrees. I've worked it out. Let's take that triangle we just worked out. What about this one? What is the size of angle Y? What changed? What stayed the same? Pause the video. Have a go at working out angle Y. How did you get on? You might have done this in a couple of ways. You might have gone, well, I'm going to do 180 degrees minus 40 minus 90. Or you might have thought, well, I noticed that this has changed. It's increased by 5 degrees. I know the right angle stayed the same. So in order for the total to be 180 degrees, this would have to decrease by 5 degrees. So that must mean that Y is equal to 50 degrees. Pause the video, have a go at the rest of the questions.
Okay, so have a go at the rest of the questions. So the rest of the questions are here. Also, there will be a learning by questions challenge for you. Make sure you log on, because I can see who's logging on. And well done to all the children that are doing it so far. See you later.